Welcome back, everybody. It's great to have you.
Hey, thanks for joining us outdoors. Beautiful day here in Saskatchewan, and it's November. November in the church is dedicated to...
The Holy Souls in Purgatory.
I think Janelle has a deeper devotion to the Holy Souls in Purgatory.
Oh, yeah, I really do. Well, I can't say that I have a greater devotion, but I know I have a devotion. I just feel like we can't forget those holy souls, nor can we assume that we don't have any loved ones not in purgatory.
Correct. And so today we're going to talk about the sufferings of purgatory, the pains of purgatory. The first one, the privation of God. So the soul in purgatory is being purified, and what causes its first pain? It can't see God. Now, if you think about the different things that bring us comfort in this life, even just to our bodies, we got the five senses. We see. So we see things that are beautiful, and it brings us great comfort, like a sunset or your wife. You touch. So that's also a great comfort in life. You know, do you remember the first time we held hands?
Sorry, I just noticed there's a ladybug crawling on my finger. Yeah. The very first time?
The very first time. What did you say?
I think I said, I like the way your hand feels in mine.
Yes. Touch can bring us great joy. By the way, still like how your hand feels in mine.
That's good.
So we see, we touch, we taste. You made me hot chocolate today with 5 scoops.
I did not put 5 scoops in there.
Oh, you did?
4. Glad you enjoyed 4. That was more than enough.
Plus cream.
Yeah.
It was good. Thank you. That brought me joy.
Oh, good.
And then we smell. What are the things that you smell that bring joy to you? The things that...
I love the smell of like homemade cooking, homemade baking.
Bread.
Yeah, bread.
Flowers.
I love, flowers, yeah, depends what kind of flowers. As long as it's not lilies, those give me really bad headaches.
Right. The point is that our bodies get pleasure and satisfaction through the senses, and it brings us joy, and that's good, all experienced in moderation and right order. But when we die, the soul is separated from the body, and none of these things can comfort the soul. There is only one thing that can comfort the soul after death. The one want, the one desire, and that is God. Mm-hmm. And that is the one thing that the souls in purgatory can't have in fullness yet, because they're being purified. Because a soul in purgatory has died in a state with imperfect charity. They've been attached to the world. They may have sins, venial sins that they need to atone for. The temporal punishment due to the sin hasn't been atoned for. And so they're in purgatory, they're being purified, and the very thing that they want, they cannot have. And some might think, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, what is a person made for? We're made for God. Think about your lungs. What are your lungs made for? They're ordered to air. And what if your lungs do not get air? You suffocate. I imagine sometimes purgatory is a soul suffering, gasping for what it cannot have yet, and that is God.
St. Ambrosius said, "Their eyes beheld a great spectacle. God showed himself to them with all his adorable perfection. He imprinted his image so vividly in their spirit. He infused them so fiercely with the glory of his infinite majesty that they think of him continually and love him with a love that is pure and complete. This insatiable love, this deprivation, this hunger, this thirst for God torments and tortures them. They are continually dying without dying. And the Church calls this condition a death, and rightly so. Lord, deliver them from death." So I just found that really interesting, because it's like the souls are given the opportunity to see God, which is what they desire, and then he's removed from them.
Yeah, and that particular point comes from private revelation. So we move on to the second pain of purgatory, which is the flames. So.
What I find interesting about the flames, though, too, is that it's, from the reading that I've done, it's different than the flames that we find here on earth. And like you think the flames here on earth would be bad enough, right? Like, could you imagine, like, you just burn yourself a little bit, like you've touched a really hot pan, or you've touched the lid of something, or your kid grabs the marshmallow stick where it's too hot, and how that can leave an imprint on your hand and cause pain for a long time. But what the reading that I've done has shown is that this type of fire is very different than the fire that we have on earth. So St. Augustine and St. Thomas call this the torment by fire. That mere word is frightening. To be completely immersed in a penetrating flame. What a cruel torture. Material fire acts only on the body, and how terrible are its effects. Who could hold a glowing coal in his hand for only a minute? But the flame in purgatory acts on the soul itself. It affects the intelligence, the memory, the senses. All of our faculties are seized and permeated. St. Thomas said, "The most roaring furnaces, the most ardent flames to which martyrs were condemned, are a mere shadow when compared to the devouring flames we must endure in purgatory." Okay, so I read this story about St. Stanislaus Kostka. He's from Poland, and he had a holy soul come and visit him. And he was asking the holy soul about the flames of purgatory. And the soul told him, like, you cannot handle what we experience in purgatory. And he allowed St. Stanislaus to have a drop of his sweat fall upon his hand. And that's just that mere drop of sweat created such an intense pain that he screamed and passed out. And then the other brothers or friars from the monastery came rushing in to find out what happened, only to have him wake up and then recount the story of this encounter with his holy soul. And he shared about exactly what the holy soul had told him. And that pain that he got from that little drop lasted for over a year on his hand. So that wasn't even the fire. That was just a drop of hot sweat.
That would be a reminder to pray for the souls in purgatory.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, because could you imagine? I'm sure he continuously prayed for them after that.
So we are left with the story as the reminder.
Yeah, I'd rather the story than the experience.
Nonetheless, we will pray.
Okay, so another suffering in purgatory is the pain of remorse. So when we think about the sins that we have committed on earth, often, like sometimes we don't even realize some of the things that we're doing are sinful or hurtful towards other people. And so I think that all of that is brought to our mind, and then we have to be purified because of that. And there's such a remorse that comes with that. I think often, like, even of our kids, if they do something and they feel really bad about it, and how it's like you're in this little suffering, right? Well, how much greater is that suffering when you're in purgatory, knowing the offenses that you've caused God?
And I think there's also the element of seeing more clearly than we see now. So we're not often aware of how deeply our venial sin offends God. But then we will see clearly and we will know.
And so they actually say that the pain of remorse and the guilt that is experienced in purgatory is even greater than the suffering that is experienced by the flames in purgatory.
What is the book that you're getting this from?
Okay, so...
Which you really...
Okay, I love this. This is actually the second time that I do this. It's called A Month with Our Friends, The Souls in Purgatory. And this is one of the reasons why I love the month of November. I love going through this book. My cousin, he often gives me great ideas, great things to do, ways to grow in holiness. And this was one of his suggestions. And so I just really enjoy this book. And every single day they go through a little teaching about purgatory. A lot of it is private revelation stories, experiences that saints have had with holy souls coming to visit them, and then they just, it finishes with prayers that you can do to help alleviate some of the suffering, and then hopefully allow some of these saints to experience a beatific vision in heaven. And I like how it also shares about how, so we have such great guilt for all the sins that we've committed, but we then also discover the millions of sins that we had never perceived, or that we had never even confessed, possibly, because clearly everything will be made known to us there. So another suffering in purgatory,
go for it.
Okay, is the good that we should have done. All those sins of omission, all the things, like I often think, Lord, what should my life have looked like according to your will? Like, would it look really different? What would my character look like? How would I have responded in this situation if I was completely unified with your will? That can be a little bit of a scary thought in some ways, because I think that I fall short a lot.
Well, I think we can understand that pain even now, where we can recognize, had we made a different decision, life would be different. And in fact, the pain of regret now can really eat a person. But when we live there now, that's not a healthy thing.
And really our hope is to do purgatory on earth. because I don't want to do purgatory and purgatory.
That's why you're married to me. So on our channel, there's many traditional Catholic prayers. Some of them center on praying for the souls in purgatory. One in particular is the Chaplet of St. Gertrude, which you have been making use of, I've noticed, playing in the kitchen, in the background.
Oh, yeah. You can release so many souls by praying the Chaplet of St. Gertrude.
And we say the St. Gertrude prayer in the morning too, right now.
Yeah, with the kids. I feel like that's something that we should just be able to just, say by heart.
Yeah. So if you've never prayed it, we highly encourage you to pray it. It's going to be linked here at the end of this video. That's a beautiful prayer. We also have another video called 7 Prayers for the Souls in Purgatory. I'll link at the end of this video as well for your benefit there to pray for the holy souls. Is there anything else?
Something that it's not on our channel, but something that we do and that we committed to quite a while ago is just to pray for the holy souls every single day of your life, because they need our prayers and they are completely dependent on the prayers of others. And so after we say our grace, after meals, we say, and may the souls of the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. And I think that's so important to do and to not forget to pray for them.
Yeah, so we made a life commitment to do that.
Yeah, we're lifers. Yeah.
Hey, so share with us below what stood out to you and why. Always love hearing from you, and we'll see you soon. God bless you.